Hey, welcome to our, I guess it's our pilot podcast.
Or episode 1.
Or episode 1, pilot podcast episode 1. And I guess you and I watch a lot of shows, and our thing is, let's just get through the pilot. Let's just get through the pilot.
Oh, it's totally. Because the number 1 pilot episode is, it could grab you, but usually you need a couple in order to really get into it. So.
Yeah. And that's our way of telling the people listening and watching to us to stick with us.
Yeah, just stick with it.
Stick with us.
We'll get better.
We will. And which is the whole point of this, the podcast that we're doing, and the whole idea of this podcast called Effing Details.
That's right.
We have swag, which is fuck the details. And there's a reason it's called fuck the details, because in our opinion, the details fuck you up.
Absolutely.
And we get stuck in the details.
True.
And then there's another side of it where the details actually matter.
Definitely.
Yeah, mind blown. Right. So when we're looking at doing like this particular idea of effing details, not getting stuck in the details, now here's the details, which is kind of plays with your mind, we came up with, and this is how we work. Right, for those that don't know us, we are husband and wife. I'm Mark Simmons. You are
Jill Simmons.
We've been together a long time.
Yes.
We're always on the same page, and we work a little ass backwards.
A little bit, yeah.
So, 2011, we bought a place. We gutted a whole place. We rebuilt the whole place, and we had a kitchen. Do you remember how we designed the kitchen? What did we design it around?
I think it was your pot filler.
Well, it was the pot filler and our fridge.
Oh, right, the fridge.
We bought a fridge. We knew we liked the fridge, and we built the rest of the kitchen to design it around the fridge.
That's true.
Remember? And then when we brought the cabinet people in, they're like, well, the fridge is kind of big for the space. Maybe, and we're like, no, we have the fridge. Let's just make it work.
We loved that fridge.
We loved the fridge, and we made it work.
We did.
Yeah. So we bought swag. Fuck the details, and then we build a whole thing around it.
Okay, but you're forgetting. What did we do? We planned our wedding before we got...
We planned the wedding before we got engaged.
That's right.
Yeah, ask backwards, because here's the thing. It's the rules. So this is our way of being.
Right.
And I think we do a good job a lot of times of not getting stuck in those initial details of... here's the plan. Here's what we need to do. Oh my God, it's stressing me out. I got to do this. You're going to do this. Here's our listener, and it stops us cold, and we do nothing.
Right.
Yeah. So how many of our people that watch us and listen to us have that same thing? Like it really does stop them cold.
I would say a whole lot of people, especially if you're sort of somebody who overthinks things a lot of the time. You'll just start overthinking and talk yourself almost out of all the reasons why you can't do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have done it too. We're not saying, hey, we got the answers.
No, we have. Yeah.
We have done it a lot.
Yeah. And
it's been a real push. And I don't want to get into an argument about the politics around COVID, whether it should or shouldn't happen or what it is. That's not our jam. But we learned a lot through that time about ourselves and really what we're capable of.
Right.
You had some breakthroughs. I had some breakthroughs. What was one of your big ass breakthroughs?
I had always wanted to start a fashion page on Instagram. And one day I just decided I'm just going to do it. And so... first things first is you start taking pictures and come up with a name. And I just didn't even overthink the name. The name I chose was actually my daughter's dog. And we just kind of made it work. And I started to take pictures. My early pictures were not great. But you know what? It's all a process. And so when you look back, even if it's not perfect, you take pride in it because you started something and you started somewhere. And that makes you proud.
Yeah, and I was really proud of you because it was something you want to do, and those people that know what a huge push it was for you to put yourself out there.
Yes.
Because a lot of people have opinions when you do that, and they're not afraid to share it.
Yeah.
And you did it, and now you have around 15,000 followers.
Just under.
You do a lot of collab stuff.
I do.
Some days the door is like another package arrive with collabs for you.
True.
Right.
But the other thing is that it snowballed into me going back to school and becoming a certified fashion stylist.
Yep.
And, that was just for me. That wasn't necessarily, I was going to start another business with it, although I do, take on clients that are my friends, and I don't charge them anything. But that was for me. And I think when you start anything and it's authentically for yourself, you'll never fail, because it's always a feeling of pride.
Absolutely. And let's talk about failure. I mean, failure is different to everyone.
Totally.
And really, I think it's what you do with failure, or your perception of failure,
right,
is super important.
Oh, well, failure is probably going to be like a huge podcast in itself. Like that'll be episode,
2 through 20.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what people think about is, what if I fail?
What if I fail?
I think it's just going to be a common recurring theme throughout the whole entire series of podcasts.
Yeah.
But we're going to try and do something a little bit different than the average, how we would podcast about this sort of subject.
Right. And, if you're wondering, well, what do you guys know? I will guide people to Walker This Way videos. And so in this networking group, and one of the owners of the franchise and I, we started doing what's called Walker This Way videos around networking. It's pretty much, it's business related and whatnot. We're at video 269 or something right now. It started at video 1. If you want to know what just do it, forget about the effing details, just go and do it. Look at our first 5 videos. Like, look at those first 5 videos where we're sitting in a cafe. A friend of ours is holding the camera. We have people walking by, a truck going by. I got a green shirt. There's a lot of background noise. But man, if we didn't do those first 5, we'd have 0 right now.
Right.
We'd have 0. And they're not great, and we were okay with it. And funny enough, we did have a couple people reach out at that time. This is going back 5 years now, going, well, the sound's not great. You should buy this thing, and you should buy... And we're like, well, maybe you should ask us what our intention was. And our intention was just get it out. And we did.
Right.
And wasn't really too concerned about the failure part of it at all. Some could argue, well, you should have been concerned, but we weren't, because it doesn't matter. You forget about the effing details.
Right.
And so our hopes with doing this podcast is to educate, if you have anything, if our listeners and the people watching us have any questions for us, we have an email address, which is anything@effingdetails.com.
Perfect.
Want to ask us anything? Ask us anything at effingdetails.com. And what we're going to do is that our plan is on each episode, we'll read one of the things from someone who has asked us anything. And if we read yours, 1 per episode, we got cool swaggy hats, fuck the details, that we're going to send to one person from every one of our podcasts.
Sounds good. That's pretty exciting.
Because
they're actually kind of cool hats.
Yeah, we did build it around our swag, around the logo. Yes, it's retro. Did we overthink it? No. Did we do it? Yes, and here we are.
Right.
Yeah, so we're not afraid of opinions. Bring it on. Right. Except the bad opinions. Don't bring those on. But the good ones, we're good with.
Because our glory days were in the 80s, were they not?
And this is why it's retro. Because we're kind of retro.
I'm just kidding, actually. I feel like my glory day is every day, so...
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So how we're going to go forward with this is our hope is that on every podcast going forward and every episode that we do, we can maybe bring a tip or a trick on something about building a real business.
Yeah.
Something you want to do. And it doesn't have to be the business you have, because your full-time job is not your Rosie Quinn stuff.
No.
Right? That is your side hustle, something you enjoy, passion project, call it what you want. I as well have a couple, and I started a jewelry company during COVID, not my full-time gig.
Right.
And it was pretty cool to do. And we have a bit of creativity, but we also great working together and are able to guide people into doing something.
Exactly. And the other thing is, you have a lot of knowledge on how to start a small business.
I worked with a lot of clients over a lot of years, and this is definitely not promo for anything other than we have experience doing it. We've been doing it a long time. We're not 20. we aren't 20. Although we look it, but we aren't it. So, and no filters. Hashtag no filters.
True.
Right? But we have things we can bring forward to you. So if you're wondering about how to grow a business, how easy it is when you're not in the details, those are the things we're going to bring you in upcoming episodes of our podcast.
Right. And that's really exciting because we don't want the details to hold you back from a very good idea.
Absolutely.
And also, sometimes it can be very stressful not knowing what the next steps are in starting a small business.
Right, yeah.
So, Mark will help guide you along that, and I will ask the questions that I'm sure you all want to know, because I don't necessarily know either. I just do it, and Mark helps guide me. So.
Yeah, and when I don't know, I make up, and you'll never know, so it's cool. And it works.
It always seems to work out.
Jeez, thank God that worked. But really, it is about fuck the details.
Right.
And let's get going. So if you're ready, and you want to do something, it doesn't matter what it is. No. Where we can't help you is if you want to build like a 60-story skyscraper, if you want to learn how to speak first, and then build a 60-story skyscraper or a building, I can't help you do that because you need details. I want you to have absolute amazing details from beginning to end. I don't want that building to collapse.
That's a very good point.
Right. If you're doing brain surgery on me, you better be clear on the details. Anything else, though, let's have a talk. Ask us anything at effingdetails.com. There it is on our screen, so you can send us an email and come for the journey with us.
Yeah.
See what it's like.
I'm excited.
All right. We made it through our number one pilot. Remember what we said at the beginning. Thanks for sitting with us. Watch the next one.
Yeah,
it
watch
gets
the
better.
next one.
All righty. Till next time.
See you later.
Bye-bye.